Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Seed to Plate channel. This is Brooke. You've caught me on week 19, I think we're on, with no makeup and very sweaty because I just got back from the gym. But I was out here checking the garden and I wanted to show you, this is going to be like pest week because we had those lovely little birds that had a nest and they were eating all my bugs. Now they're gone and now the bugs are everywhere. So first things first, let's talk about squash vine borers, which I saw the moth that lays the caterpillar in my garden like yesterday, and the eggs are everywhere. So a squash vine borer is a type of caterpillar that the moths will come lay their eggs like right on the base of the plant, and I've been taking my gardening knife and just scraping the eggs off, but I found one that has enough on there to where I can actually show you what they look like. Get in there deep into your squash plant. There's all those little brown things. Those are all squash vine borer eggs. So this is what happened to my squash last year and I got no squash, so I was very upset. Basically, once the eggs hatch, they turn into caterpillars, and then the caterpillars crawl, they bore inside of the stem of your squash, and they eat the stem from the inside out, and then your stem is mushy, and you don't get any fruit, and it's a whole thing. So, some people take duct tape and wrap duct tape like around their hand and like, you know, pat the stem. I just take my gardening knife and try and get as many scraped off as I can, because it will inhibit production like massively. So that's pest number one that we're dealing with this week in the garden. Pest number two are cucumber beetles, which I think the bird must have been really plucking aggressively because I didn't see any until like 2 days ago, and now they are here in full force. There's one. Oh, it flew away. So the cucumber beetles will come. There's two getting it on. Oh, they ran away from me. So I've got cucumber beetles, and this is what they do. Super great. Just as my cucumbers are starting to climb, and then they've really gotten a hold of these guys, my Armenian white cucumbers. So, Lord, really liked that bird being here. So after I scrape off the eggs for the squash vine borer, I'm going to go ahead and do two things. I'm going to spray BT, which BT is a organic approved pesticide for caterpillars, and then I'm going to spread DE, diatomaceous earth, which is another organic approved pest control situation. We're going to spread DE, we're going to spray BT. Now, the way that these two things work is BT will kill caterpillars, but the caterpillar actually eat the BT. So you want to make sure you spray really well on all of your leaves, both top and on the undersides. I think people forget those a lot. And then for diatomaceous earth, that is for hard-bodied insects, and that will actually get up under their exoskeleton and make them itch to the point where they shed their exoskeleton, and then they get zapped by the sun. So this all sounds a little aggressive, I'm aware, but I really want zucchini and I want all of the things that I planted, so yes. Okay, so I just got done spreading the diatomaceous earth and spraying my BT. The thing about pests this time of year, I don't know if it's like this in other places, but Texas is just bug heaven sometimes. It gets out of control very quickly. Like, I think I noticed the squash vine borer maybe a couple days ago, and I noticed the damage to my cucumber plants like yesterday, and just ever since I noticed, it's gotten worse. So, pest damage this time of year is something you want to like viciously be aware of, because it'll take out your plants really quickly. Also, I did not end up going to the country this weekend like I thought I was going to. Just didn't work out. So I'll be going somewhat soon, but that did give me an opportunity to do some gardening projects just quietly by myself, because as much as I love to share everything here, I also the garden is just as much for just me. But I will show you guys what I did. This was the bed we harvested all those onions out of. I went ahead and planted that okra. We did that together and it is popping up. So we've got the Clemson spineless here, the burgundy. I guess they're starting to pop up. I was getting a little worried. I hadn't really seen many of them. Oh, there's a few of them popping up. That makes me feel a little bit better. This guy's having a hard time. Help him a little bit. And then the Jing orange is coming up like a champ. I'm pretty impressed, actually. And so then in front here, I had those grow bags, and I went ahead and planted their dwarf. They're called Sunspot Sunflowers, and that's what I planted in these grow bags as well, just to like bring some color and some flowers into the garden. I think I threw a couple seeds in here too. And then here's all the diatomaceous earth that I just put down to kill all the bugs. And then I was telling my neighbor he's gonna be able to pick his own tomatoes here. Well, I guess now. And then this right here was where the blueberry bushes were, but the tomato plants are getting so big that they were kind of like not allowing the blueberry plants to get enough sun. So I just went ahead and put down some soil here, and I just pulled up all the weeds, and I planted a florist mix of sunflowers. So the mix had like white and yellow and peach sunflowers, so I have no idea what's gonna come up, but they're all planted in this little spot right here. And then the blueberry bushes moved over here. So I have one lone blueberry, but that's okay. I went ahead and fertilized these with an acid lovers fertilizer, which is what I think they were missing. So these both got fertilized as the other blueberry plant. And then I got myself a little gift. This is a lemon tree. So this is a Eureka Pink variegated lemon tree. And it's super tiny right now, but it's really beautiful. And I just put it in this small pot. I didn't want to, the pot it was in wasn't much bigger than that. So we're gonna see if we can keep this lemon tree alive. Lemon tree was most definitely an impulse purchase. It was 20 bucks, and not gonna lie, I'm really happy I got it. Hey guys, how's it going? We are at the plot this morning. I've got my coffee, and we're gonna actually do some unfortunate things today. So yeah, it's not been my best week in terms of gardening. I'm dealing with a lot of pests and some like plant viruses. So, but that's okay. You know what? This is all a part of gardening. It's not all roses and sunshine and harvests and green things. So, I need at least half more of this coffee. Half more. It's early. It's early. I think I'm emotionally prepared to go do the sad thing. Okay guys, so welcome to the plot. That's where we're at this morning, and I had been noticing that there were some issues with a few of these tomato plants that are here at the plot. And there's a pretty like stark visual difference at this point, so that I can show you. But these tomatoes, I believe, have what's called curly leaf top virus or curly top leaf virus, something like that. It's passed through white flies, and it doesn't affect every single plant, but this is a situation where like I wouldn't want to put these plants in compost, and I definitely don't want to like leave them to disintegrate in the plot, because it's just not something that you want to spread. So let me show you what this looks like so that you can identify it if it happens to your plants. There is no saving this plant. I guess that's kind of the sad thing to know. There is absolutely no saving this plant. You just have to cut it down. Thankfully, I These were all extra seedlings that I had, so I still have these plants. I'm not completely losing the like variety, but it is a bummer. So let me show you what a normal tomato plant looks like at this stage and what a plant that's suffering from curly leaf top virus looks like. So this is a normal tomato plant. You've got nice flat leaves, the stems look nice, you've got good fruit production. Here's another good looking tomato plant. And then right next to it, you have this. So the leaves are all curly, they're looking very dead. And the one next to it looks the same. This was a San Marzano and this was, it looks like a Golden Jubilee. So obviously these plants are sick. I thought maybe potentially they needed some fertilizer, so I fertilized them last week. That did not help, which tells me that they have curly leaf top virus. Now, other than the way it appears, unless you want to get this plant tested, you can, but I'm pretty sure that that's what's going on. So I've got out of 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of 10 tomato plants, it looks like 1, 2, 3, at least 3 of them have it. I bet this one does too. So that's 4 plants that have it. And then I bet that one does too. So I think this actually affected half of my tomato plants here at the plot, which is definitely sad and unfortunate, but I was able to identify it pretty early. I don't really think there's much that you can actually do to prevent this, by the way, because it's just a pest pressure issue and white flies are like super tiny. I've never had this happen before. And like I said, it only affected like half of these plants and it's affected 0 of my plants at home. So we're gonna chop these down, unfortunately. We're supposed to get a bunch of rain over the next few days, so I just want to get them chopped down so that they don't continue to like try and grow and fail. So something else that you'll notice with curly leaf top virus is the like thickening of the stem, and it gets really stunted growing. So like this stem is just so like knobby and thick and weird, and that's not how your tomato stems should look. Alright guys, the deed is done. And sad. Seeing like empty tomato cages with like no tomatoes in them is definitely a sad moment. But, you know, it's just one of those things where it happens and you just kind of have to suck it up and move on. I probably could have left these plants. There were a few fruits on them. I probably could have left them to just do whatever and ripen that fruit, but it's just not worth it to me because I have those other plants. I'm suspecting that maybe this one in the middle might also have it, but I'm gonna leave it because it's still growing vertically, and you probably noticed those other ones that I chopped down, they were kind of like bushing out and like almost taking on this like weird dome shape. So yeah, you win some, you lose some, but now I actually have a few like places to put something. So I'll have to go through my seed collection and see what I want to stick in there. I've got all kinds of like pumpkins and squash, and I really want to try to grow Kajari melons, but I was thinking of growing those vertically, so we'll see what happens. I've got options. I'm seeing it as an opportunity, and we're supposed to get rain like for the next few days, so I'm gonna try and get whatever peppers I can harvested before that happens. So let's go see what peppers are ready to pick. So here's one of the shishito plants, and we've been getting tons of shishito peppers, and we just blister them and we dip them into like a garlic aioli. So I kind of just collect a few every day, and then we just wait until we have enough of them. And also, this is why I topped my pepper plants, because they end up with more of a canopy and they kind of become more of a bush, which is really awesome. So in terms of knowing when these are ready, I kind of just go based on size. Then if we walk over here, so this bell pepper I've been waiting for. It's a big fat orange bell pepper. And it's kind of starting to blush, but it's still pretty green, so I think I'm gonna leave it for now. But I really want it, really bad. And then these are some Anaheims. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research. They're definitely not ready to pick yet, but they look really beautiful. And then this guy is a Serrano. And I have another Serrano plant that has some peppers on it. Oh, a stem broke. But I also have another Shishito plant to harvest from. God, these Shishito plants are just, they just give and give and give. It's so awesome. I've never grown Shishitos before. So here's the Serrano plant that has a couple of peppers on it. I bet that one's ready. So there's a Serrano. Now I actually prefer to use Serranos in stuff that calls for jalapenos because I just like the flavor better. Sometimes jalapenos are just hot without actually having any flavor. And I find that Serranos just have more of a flavor profile and less like straight up just heat. But I'll leave the rest of those. And anyone else, I feel like when I'm picking peppers, I feel like I'm like hunting for treasure because the peppers a lot of the time are green and then the plant's all green and bushy. So I feel like I'm like literally digging for gold. I'm just like looking so fervently for these peppers to be ready. These are the Tomatillos. So the Tomatillos are going crazy and there was one towards the bottom the other day that was ready, but they are really, oh, here's one. So once they start to break out of their skin like this, they're ready to pick. So we have one whole tomatillo. Okay, today's not that bad. I had to chop some plants down, but we're getting some other good stuff. This gives me a little bit of hope. There's some really nice fat looking tomatoes on this plant that doesn't seem to be affected by the virus. Although maybe it is. Another sign to look for with curly leaf virus is you're gonna just see these blossoms just die. Like these blossoms should not be dead, but they're just dead. So maybe TBD. We'll keep an eye on that guy. I'm going to get all of these now dead tomato plants. I'm going to get them bagged up and then I'm actually just straight up gonna throw them away. This is one of those situations where like, yes, composting and all that stuff is extremely important and very beneficial. But if you just compost things that are already sick, you're really just gonna spread that sickness. So you don't wanna spread sickness through the garden, whether it's a community garden or your own garden. Don't compost sick plants, whether they have like a bacterial wilt or, I thought I heard something behind me. Whether they have like a bacterial wilt or what have you, do not compost sick plants. It's 100% of the time just not worth it. But yeah, it looks like some of my zinnia that I planted are coming up, and hopefully this garden gets a lot more colorful. I think I've got a lot of these like these types of flowers that I need to pull that I planted like in the fall. So I definitely need to pull those guys because they're just spent. And I have plenty of flowers. I have plenty of flower seeds to plant in their place. So really just trying to think positively. It's been a rough gardening week, y'all, between the pests and realizing that these tomato plants were just dead. It's been a tough gardening week, but that's okay. There's lots of other opportunity in other parts of the garden, and you know, sometimes, ooh, I see more tomatillos. See, it's already getting better. All right, guys, well, thanks so much for watching. It hasn't been my best gardening week, but also it's been a really good week to like learn just about pests and all the different things. So yes. Thanks so much for joining me here on week 19. I think that means we're gonna hit 4 months here in the next week. But thanks so much for joining me, and